Hello, and welcome to the Facilitator orientation for the Practice Support Program's COPD Learning Series. My name is Shanice Powers, and I'm the Project Coordinator for the Practice Support Training. We're privileged today to have with us the medical leads for the evolution of this content, Dr. Bruce Hobson and Dr. Shirley Z. They have both been involved in the project in a leadership capacity, in addition to participating as planning members and working group members for the development of the COPD content. This session provides an orientation to the Practice Support Program's COPD Learning Series. It is designed to support facilitators in the delivery of the content and is intended to be reviewed in conjunction with the facilitator guides for each unit. We will provide some development context, review the COPD learning pathway, and end with next steps. Before we begin, I'm going to play this short video to provide a bit of a background on the project.
Have you heard about the Practice Support Program's module evolution? As doctors continue to evolve to meet their patients' needs, the Practice Support Program, or PSP, is also shifting our priorities and services to better serve our doctors. PSP is a joint initiative of the Government of BC and Doctors of BC that aims to improve the quality of patient care through evidence-based education and in-practice supports for family doctors. We offer tailored learning solutions that are designed to enable doctors and their teams to make and sustain improvements in their practice. Since our programme started in 2007, thousands of BC family doctors have participated in our services, particularly our longest-standing offering, learning modules. Our modules focus on specific clinical topics and consist of a series of doctor-led, interactive group sessions. These education sessions are followed by action periods, during which time participants apply what they have learned within their own practice. Doctors can also receive support to implement practice changes from our regional support team. We're excited to share that we are working to evolve several existing modules to better suit your needs. Partnering with educational experts at the UBC Division of Continuing Professional Development and collaborating with clinical experts throughout the province, we are evolving our existing modules into efficient, versatile learning opportunities. Taking into account doctors' feedback, we're leveraging the latest research in adult education and marrying that with quality improvement methodology to create shorter, more dynamic options for learning. We're keeping what works. Learning will continue to be doctor-led, community-based, and offer localised follow-up support. And we're ensuring content is based on high-quality evidence, is aligned with current guidelines, and is relevant for practitioners throughout BC. This module evolution process will take place over the next 2 years, and new content will be released as and when it becomes available. Topic areas reflect priority content based on physician feedback and will include chronic disease management, including COPD, heart failure, hypertension and diabetes, pain management, end-of-life care, and advanced access and office efficiency. To get involved in our module evolution project, contact us at psp@doctorsofbc.ca.
The development process for the evolved content included extensive consultation with a wide range of partners in order to leverage and collaborate to ensure provincial alignment. A strong evidence base provided the core of the work, and we drew on BC and national guidelines as well as subject matter experts to guide both the structure and content of the education sessions. Considerations for team-based care approach is integrated into the content, as well as techniques to facilitate patient self-management support in the context of each clinical area. Malcolm Knowles defines Andragogy as the art and science of helping adults to learn, and outlines 6 characteristics of adult learners.
Looking to adult learning theory can greatly improve the design and delivery of CPD. Adult learners differ from other students in several ways that require special consideration. Knowles defined Andragogy as the art and science of helping adults to learn, and outlined 6 characteristics of adult learners. These adult learning principles can be summarised as follows. Adults are independent and self-directing. It is important to involve adult learners in the planning and evaluation of their own learning. Provide choice whenever possible and use active learning methods. 2. Adult learners come with diverse backgrounds, experience and expertise. It is important to utilise and leverage these skills and qualities. Learners will feel valued, respected, and it can enrich the overall learning experience. Also, encourage learners to challenge their own pre-existing ideas or clinical approaches. 3. Adult learners need to be in the know. Involve learners in the lesson plan, how the learning will be conducted, what learning will occur, and most importantly, why the learning is important. 4. Adult learners are relevancy-oriented. Making a connection to how the learning relates to them personally greatly impacts a learner's motivation to learn. For example, make learning goals directly relevant to clinical practice. 5. Adult learners are problem-oriented and seek to acquire knowledge that offers immediate solutions to real-life problems. Use clinical examples and case studies to give the learners an opportunity to apply their new skills to resolving a real-life daily challenge. 6. Adult learners are internally motivated. Although external factors are potent, adult learners are more responsive to internal incentives. This also results in greater satisfaction with the learning process. Inspire internal motivation by increasing awareness of learning benefits. We hope you enjoyed this video and are ready to apply adult learning principles to the design and delivery of your next CPD activity. Be sure to check out the other 2 videos in this series if you haven't done so already: CPD Learning Theory and CPD Learning Approaches. Thanks for watching.
Session delivery will occur through the practice support program with follow-up tailored in-practice coaching to support meaningful practice improvement. This approach focuses on supporting teams to make meaningful practice improvement through action planning with measurement embedded to support practice change. Delivery is supported by the extensive facilitator guides available for each session. It will be worth reviewing the facilitator guides in detail. They are designed to support you in delivering so that you don't need to be an expert. This presentation includes specific links to page numbers in the guides. If you have delivered PSP module content in the past, you will find these sessions are less didactic and more interactive, as the didactic elements have largely been integrated into short online sessions in order to make the most of the in-person session time, focusing on cases and activities. I'll now hand it over to Dr. Shirley Z with some details regarding the COPD learning series.
So why learn about COPD? It is the rising cause of mortality worldwide. We're going from the 4th leading cause of death in patients in 2015 to the 3rd leading cause in 2030, with a projected 4.5 million deaths. More so, acute exacerbation of COPD is the highest cause of acute hospitalization, and the more exacerbations a patient has, the more the decline in their lifespan. Family physicians, in identifying patients with COPD in their practices and providing proactive care and preventative measures for hospitalizations, can ensure a healthier life and better outcome for our patients. Particularly, we know that physicians doing brief intervention for smoking cessation and encouraging physical activity does make a difference for our patients who have this chronic disease. In addition, the newest guidelines for recommendations for medication management, both in BC with the GPAC guidelines and nationally with the Canadian Thoracic Society, have been incorporated in these modules. As you can see, they were both updated in 2017. The COPD learning pathway is presented in this slide, which provides short, flexible, and accessible learning opportunities. In total, there are 8 topic areas that may be explored and selected by learners and/or their communities. 4 are in-person modules indicated by the little man icon, lasting from 1.5 to 3 hours. 2 are half-hour online modules indicated by the computer screen icon, and 2 are blended modules, which is a combination of online and in-person. In the spirit of flexibility and accessibility, learners can create their own learning pathway by selecting topic areas that are most relevant to their individual practice or community needs. Some may choose to take only one of the 8 units, while others may choose to create their own tailored learning series. The gray boxes at the bottom represent learning units that are relevant across all of the chronic disease learning series. Please visit the PSP website or contact your local regional support team for more information. This demonstrates one way that the learners can do the learning. They can engage with the full range of topics and start at the very first session and proceed through the pathway following the recommended order. They can engage with a small group of their peers to learn together, or they can do so on their own with self-reflection. Another way of doing this is to have learners that want to brush up on their knowledge in a particular area start with their own priority learning area and engage in learning as their needs evolve and as time allows. The sessions are designed to stand alone, so the series does not have to be taken in one consistent order. What is truly recommended is for learners to take the online modules that are included for various learning units prior to each in-person session to get the most out of the in-person sessions. Also, they have the opportunity to engage their PSP regional support team to assist them prior to and after the modules to define their action goals and getting the quality matrix in their EMR to measure their progress based on the learning they received at each unit. In other words, translating new or existing knowledge into practice. Now I'm going to turn over to Dr. Bruce Hobson to describe each individual learning unit.
Thank you, Dr. Z. In the Prevalence and Epidemiology session, we will aim to have learners answer the following questions. Am I diagnosing all those people that should be diagnosed to prevent acute exacerbation and to slow disease progression? We know that COPD is projected to be the third leading cause of death by 2030. How can we change this? How can we get clarity in your practice on who your COPD patients are so we can work better with them? Practice level, clinic level, if we know who our patients are, then we can make sure we have the right workflows to manage them. Community level, if you know who in a community has COPD, you can map for services to support them and advocate for any service gaps. In the screening and diagnosis session, we will aim to have learners answer these questions. How do I know who to test? And where is that testing available in my community? What are the current criteria for diagnoses? In the initial and ongoing assessment session, we will aim to have learners answer the following questions. How to ensure that you have the right processes and care principles in place to not miss anything at each visit with your patient. Once you have done the initial diagnosis, what do you do now? How can we be culturally sensitive and provide self-management support to our patients? In the case management session, we will aim to have learners answer the following questions. What are the key management issues in patients with COPD? How can you meet the patient where they are at? What are the key adherence issues? Patient complexity, inhaler technique, medication adherence, and other social determinants of health, including health literacy. Who can help me to support this patient? How can we provide self-management support before we prescribe medication? And what does collective competence mean? In the medication session, which is the next session, we will aim to have learners answer the following questions. How can I pick the right medication with the amount of choices that I have? How do I pick the right devices? Am I making the right choices for my patient? How do I know I am making the right choices? How can we meet our patients where they are at? How do I get support from PSP prior to the in-person session to optimize my EMR in order to get the most out of the in-person session? In the comorbidities and complications of chronic disease session, we will aim to have learners answer the following questions. How do I manage the common comorbidities? What are the other challenges faced in managing the reality that our patients are more complex than one condition? What are some strategies for managing complex patients? more than just COPD. Finally, in the smoking cessation session, we will aim to have learners answering these questions. What is screening, brief intervention, and referral for treatment? What are brief interventions, and how can you use them in patients who smoke or who have other substance use issues? I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. Z to tie this all up.
Thank you. So our next steps for you as peer mentors is to take some time to review the facilitator guide and the materials for the session or for the sessions that you are interested in delivering. Review the relevant guidelines that apply to the specific topic and sessions, and make sure that you're familiar with the very latest available. Take the online sessions yourself so that you have an understanding of the content available for your learners. And review the training materials through PSP that may be complementary for the delivery. Finally, consider your own action planning opportunities. Modeling and supporting action planning is a key element of being a facilitator. Before you develop a PSP learning session, please consider your own action planning work and what action planning steps will you undertake. What quality matrix can you follow and track in your EMR with the help of your regional support team? So for further questions or comments, please contact the PSP program or your PSP regional support team supports. Thank you.